button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you are not a member, and also hit them notifications so that you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. And be sure you're sharing this video, man. Share these videos too. Share this content too as well. Salute to the whole entire LDBC, basketball and boxing. You know how we get down. And salute to all of the people that rock with me. And if you don't rock with me, I definitely understand. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love and the hate. Everything that you try to do to destroy me, man, I appreciate that because I'm only going to use you as a stepping stone. I'm only going to use you as a ladder. Okay? All right, let's just get that overstood. Um, Now, I do have some breaking news, and I'm going to get to the other subject in just a minute when we talk about Bryce James' first game. But according to Mark Stein, uh, forward Obi Toppin will miss the remainder of the season. Um, Salute to the brother Ticket TV too, because he had reported this too as well. So salute to Ticket TV. Definitely go sub to his channel. Um, this right here is even more bad news and devastating news for the Pacers. Of course, they don't have Halliburton. Um, they were just in the finals, and a lot of people were hit with devastating news when Halliburton had caught the bad news that of course got injured, and he was going to be out, uh, for the year and everything because of the Achilles. Now, do I see the Pacers coming back? No, I do not. I just don't think that they have enough. I don't think that Rick Carlisle should be put on any type of hot seat or anything like that because they are without their star player in Halliburton. Um, Obi Toppin is a force. Okay, he's extremely athletic. He's worked on the three ball, his outside shooting and everything, and he was a big factor in the Pacers' run last year. Unfortunately, they fell a little bit short, but I salute the Pacers and how they played and everything. Being that all the odds were stacked up against them. You had teams in there, like the Cavs, who they said that they were going to make it. You had other teams in there that said that they were going to make it. Please hit the like when you come in here. Please hit the like when you come in here. Double tap the screen and hit the like, or you could hit the three dots right there and hook your boy up with a like. Listen, the Pacers are at the bottom of the barrel. I'm not going to sit here and beat nobody when they're down. I'm not going to sit here and talk trash about them, uh, what they're going through or anything like that. This is something that they're just going to have to work through. Orlando went through a similar situation. Now they semi got their pieces back, but Orlando really don't have all their pieces back, but they're working through what they can work through. Miami went through a similar situation too as well. They were riddled with injuries. So did Charlotte. Charlotte's never really been a force. But the difference is that the Indiana Pacers, they made it to the finals. People were looking for them to be back in the finals and everything. But unfortunately, that isn't going to happen. Obi Toppin, I've always liked Obi Toppin. If it wasn't for a couple of the guys within the LDBC, I would have never paid attention to Obi Toppin. But my brother Will Strong, shout out to him. Definitely go sub to the Will Strong show. He was the one that was instrumental in letting me know about Obi Toppin when he came over there from Dayton. Okay, and I once I was able to get a glimpse of Obi Toppin or whatnot, then I kind of paid attention to him and I watched his progression and everything. A lot of people were shitting on him and saying that he was a poor man's LeBron and trying to compare him to LeBron. All he could do is dunk. He'll never improve. When he first got to New York and everything, but I said, nah, there's something about him. There's something different about him. Besides the athleticism and everything, I think that he could have been something. But again, Obi Toppin will be out for the remainder of the year, because he, according to Mark Stein, because he is having foot surgery. So I just wish him a speedy recovery and everything. And for the Pacers, Rick Carlisle and all of these guys, Pascal Siakam, the rest of the crew, TJ McConnell, everybody that's on there, they're gonna have to they're gonna have to really get in their bag. Now, Pascal Siakam, uh, he's the guy that I've always liked. Now, the the knock on Pascal Siakam is, can he carry the load? Now we know he's been in the finals. Okay, he's been in the finals. You know, he's won the championship before with the Toronto Raptors and everything. And a lot of people, they'll say, okay, yeah, Pascal Siakam, you know, he's good, and you know he's a Swiss Army knife and all that other stuff. But can he carry a team when he's not out there? Because they'll always say, oh yeah, well, Pascal Siakam, if it wasn't for him, y'all wouldn't have won and everything like that. Well, to me, this is an opportunity for Pascal Siakam to prove guys wrong. Now, do I see it happening? No. And I like Pascal Siakam. I like what he brings to the table. I like his versatility. I like the fact that he is a Swiss Army knife, which, if you pay attention to my channel, I like Swiss Army knife type of player. However, I don't see him carrying a team like that. So it's going to be tough for the Indiana Pacers. So, again, uh, Obi Toppin is out. He will be out for the remainder of the season, and it's because of foot surgery. That's according to Mark Stein. Um, Now let me talk about Bryce James for a second, okay? Now, if you expected me to come on here and shit on Bryce James and say how trash he played and all that other stuff, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, okay? However, I am going to say this, okay? Um, his performance, he played 15 minutes, had 2.3 rebounds in 15 minutes of play. They played a D2 school, okay? I will say this. He got to do better when you're playing against a D2 school, okay? They played against Embry-Riddle. It was an exhibition game. Um, Bryce James, while he has the size advantage over his brother, Bronny, um, he he still, you could see the nerves. You know what I'm saying? You could see the nerves in there, of course. And I'm not gonna make any excuses for him. Okay, you look shooken up, man. You're playing against guys in which you blew the team out. This was a D2 school, so you're supposed to beat them. You were talking about Arizona. You're talking about Lou Holtz. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about Miles Simon and Mike Bibby. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about Dickerson. You know what I'm saying? You talking about a whole bunch of guys that have played in the NBA from Arizona. You know what I'm saying? And I could go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? You're playing in that uniform, so it's a different level. Look, the upside that I see in Bryce James is he wants to play defense. Now, I will say this: looking at him, I can see him playing a little bit different. He had an aggressive, strong rebound that he had or whatever. But most guys and most scouts and everything, if you're wanting to play at the NBA level, they're supposed to be like, well, you're supposed to do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Getting a rebound and putting it, doing the putbacks and stuff like that. He's got a long way to go. Okay, he's got a long way to go. Do I see NBA yet? Absolutely not. Okay, I don't see NBA yet. He might look like he has the NBA body and still growing into his body and everything like that, but he's just gonna have to play more. I don't want to hear any of these excuses talking about, oh yeah, in limited playing action, stuff like that. Of course, the articles are gonna say that they're gonna lean towards trying to be in favor of LeBron. But look, I'm not gonna cut you any slack over here. You know what I'm saying? I want Bryce to, succeed or whatever. And what's going to play in his favor too is him being under the radar, him not being under all the scrutiny and all heavily hyped and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's going to play in his favor because what you can do is be in the lab. You know what I'm saying? When they're not paying attention to you, be in the lab. When they doubting you, get in the lab. You know what I'm saying? They talking shit about you. You know, people heckling, saying that you can't make it. Get in the lab. That's what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that you can do is get better. Now, Bryce seems like he actually wants it more. I don't know. It's just something about his demeanor, but he's still quite nervous. We can tell it, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of us are older. A lot of us, may have kids, you know what I'm saying, that, from an older perspective, you can see that, you know what I'm saying, in comparison to, you being their age or something like that. You can see the nervousness, you can see the jitters, you can see the butterflies or that sort of thing or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and that's quite natural. However, as time goes on, he's going to have to go ahead and shake that off, because you're in Arizona now. You're at a D1 school. These guys are going to be coming at you, and then when you step foot on the floor, they know that you are LeBron James' son, just like they're doing with Bryce James. They're going to go at you, no mercy at all. They want to embarrass you because of the simple fact that they don't like the fact that you were able to be at James and have a jersey on, and just because you are the son of a future Hall of Famer and a billionaire and all that other jazz. You know what I'm saying? There's other guys that they don't like that. And then when you get to the NBA, it's going to get even worse. So the thing for Bryce, he could actually flip this situation and turn this into a positive. How can he do that? He's just gonna have to go out there and do the extreme opposite of what his brother is doing. They're talking, they're saying we're cooking his brother constantly, you know what I'm saying, because he's going out there not scoring any points. You got to go out there and put up 14. Then the next night, go ahead and put up 18. Then the next night, probably hit him with 20. You know what I'm saying? Be more aggressive than what your brother is being. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to do opposite if you want to be able to succeed. And then you're going to have to turn that media into a frenzy talking about you in a positive light as opposed to Bronny James. If you notice that the media ain't really speaking about Bronny James, now they're starting to tell the truth about Bronny James. In the beginning, they were making a whole bunch of excuses and stuff like that. But we all know, I don't put that all on Bronny James. We all know who the fault of that is. Okay? But like I said, man, he is 6'6", growing into 6'7", possibly going to be 6'8". That could possibly play in his favor. If the skills don't play in his favor, you know how I do around here. Hey, you got to go, But I always am of the mindset, okay, let's sit back, let's see how things arrive. Listen, some of y'all that may have kids, you may have kids, you know what I'm saying? You may not have kids. You may have a smaller cousin or a nephew or something like that, or somebody, just a younger family member or something like that, who you want to succeed in any type of sport, and you got a lot of the family tells you the harsh truth, okay? I know in my family, we're going to tell you the harsh truth or whatever. But at the same time, that can either be a motivator, okay? Or it could be a demoralizer in which, you know what I'm saying, mentally you'll be shot, and Bryce, he's got to go. He's got an advantage over Bronny in the fact that he can play a full season. It's just going to be his freshman year. If you're not ready to come, look, no, I'm not looking for him to come out, right after your freshman year, go to the NBA and no shit like that. No, develop. You never know what you could do at the end of your freshman year. You never know what you could do at the sophomore level. If you feel like you're not ready or whatever, then come in, stay all 4 years if you need to. You know what I'm saying? That was my whole thing about Bronny. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't even feel like he was a D1 caliber player. You know what I'm saying? But he was there. You know what I'm saying? He did what he can do or whatever. And now we're seeing the non-benefits of lack of plan. Okay, of him not being able to get as much experience and everything. And then also it comes with attitude too. You know what I'm saying? It comes with attitude too. You gotta want it. You gotta want to be better. You gotta want to not be attached to your dad. You know what I'm saying? Now he has said that before, but your attitude proves otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta sometimes be blunt and be like, look, don't say shit about my pops or whatever. I'm not attached to him. That's the type of mentality that you have to have. Now, have these guys been blessed because of their dad? Yes, they have. You know what I'm saying? Are they benefiting off their dad in terms of the generational wealth and all that other stuff? Yeah. But Bryce James could actually make this situation and flip it. You know what I'm saying? Saying, "Nah, I want to work for what I can achieve." You know what I'm saying? Nah, don't just give me an opportunity. Let me work for it. He can do that, and then a lot of people will have a lot more respect for him. Look, if you don't make it to the NBA after college or something like that, but you have the desire to play, but them guys don't feel like you're ready for the NBA, go across the water. A lot of people think that going across the water is something wrong with that. A lot of people think that going across the border is something wrong with that. A lot of people think that going to international is something wrong with that. A lot of people think that just because you might not make it, you have to go back to the drawing board and go play adult league or YMCA, 24-hour fitness, gold gym, wherever the fuck you play at. Some people think that there's something wrong with that. No, there ain't nothing wrong with that. If you're between the ages of anywhere from, I would say, 18 to 25 or something like that, and you still got time or whatever, get your ass out there and go back to the drawing board. It's not a big deal, like you control your destiny. Don't let nobody else control your destiny. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's so used to on social media giving up. Oh, well, he said this about me. He said I'm trash. You know what? I'm going to go in the corner and cry. No, you couldn't do that where I was from. You had to face the music. You know what I'm saying? If you got embarrassed that one day, guess what? You're going to see the same people there that was laughing at you. If you got knocked out, you know what I'm saying, and everybody was laughing at you, guess what? You're going to see the same people that were laughing at you and clowning you and saying all this other stuff about you. You understand what I mean? So, listen, there's no room for excuses on my channel. There's no room for excuses in my household. There's no room for excuses in my life, period, or whatever. But we can't tell another man how to think. We can't tell another man what to do. We can't tell another man how to feel or anything like that. And yes, Bryce James, he is a man. He is not a little kid or anything. And I wish people would stop sitting up here trying to baby these guys. Try to sit up here and say, oh, the poor kid and stuff like that. No, he's 18 years old. Okay? He's 18 years old. He's old enough to drive. Okay? He's old enough to make his decision. He probably not old enough to drink yet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But he's old enough to, have kids and be going and on his own. Okay? So that means you are old enough to accept this criticism, old enough to accept this smoke. Okay? And some people are like, oh, well, I thought you were in support of Bryce James and all this other stuff. Look, I'm in support of anybody that's trying to do anything constructive and positive or whatever. But on the flip side, with Bronny, how I feel about that situation, if you don't have any desire, if you don't have any passion, if you don't have the will or the determination to want to do any of this, then I'm not going to feel a damn thing about you, because you have other guys out there that hell, they just signed a 41-year-old in the NFL or whatnot. He's 41 years old. He has more passion than some of these 18, 19, 20-year-olds. So why am I going to make any excuses for any of the YNs or anything like that? No, I'm not going to do that. So again, he'll have to go back to the drawing board. There's going to be plenty nights like this. Might not get no playing time. Might get a couple minutes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If the coach don't feel like you're ready or anything, because you got to think about it, man. This guy, Bryce, man, they were playing against Embry-Riddle. That's a D2 school. You know what I'm saying? That's not even a D1. They were literally blowing these guys out. I think when Bryce got in, the score was like 50 something to 20 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So we can't you can't really even judge him based off of any of that. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like them putting Ace Bailey, a 19-year old, you know what I'm saying, in the in the game when they blowing out the Clippers or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? No shade to the Clippers and no shit like that, but I'm just saying you putting him in the game when they already getting blown out. No, let's see how you are at the beginning of the game. Let's see how you are, you know what I'm saying, against the starters, those guys who deserve to be out there and stuff like that. Let's see how you are then. But, you going out there, only getting 2 points, you know what I'm saying, a couple rebounds or something like that out of 15 minutes or something like that. I'm not going to sit up here and go full throttle on you. Could you have played better? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Every opportunity you got to go out there, you got to eat. And I'm not even saying that you got to necessarily score out those points. A tiny bit of aggressiveness, you know what I'm saying? And that was on the defensive end. But that's not enough to move the scouts. That's not enough to move the GMs. That's not enough to move anybody. The only way that they're going to be able to move you is to move your ass up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Move you off the roster or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they're saying, okay, well, what if his last name wasn't James? Hey, that remains to be seen. I'll tell you this thing. I'll tell you this, though, right? Look, my kids, they gonna work for it. Nothing gonna be handed down. Now the nepotism things, all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying? I get all of that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you still got to teach your people to work hard. You still got to teach your people to have drive. You still got to have, teach your people to, want whatever it is that they set out to achieve. Because if you don't teach them the value of hard work and you're just giving them everything, how will they know what struggling is like? How will they know what getting up is like? You know what I'm saying? When they fall down or some shit. You understand what I mean? So, anyways, man, I ain't gonna get off philosophical. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit them notifications too. Straight to the point. Shouts out to the whole entire LDBC basketball boxing. I'm gone.